gonna try to cut this out of the firewall right here for an access point. So here's what we got besides a sleeping pad here. Man, it's just easier to put a bunch of blankets and stuff down over top of all these metal brackets I got down here, so you can just lay across this to work under the dash. Anyways, so if you look underneath here, let me turn on the light. We have all of these holes underneath here. We have rib nuts, we have rivets. You can see where I patched a heater core, you know, holes in the firewall. And, you know, it's just a bunch of stuff going on right there. If you look underneath the hood, it's the same way when you pop the hood. And I was never 100% happy with this. I just didn't do nothing about it because I was trying to avoid what I'm about to do. So there's what it looks like under the hole. You know, you got this patch panel, and then you got rib nut, which is actually for the transmission dipstick. You got this pass-through that was here, another rib nut, you know, the other holes. So we're going to cut it right here on this line. That's going to leave us a flat surface to rib nut a access panel to. So we're going to build us a patch panel to cover up or to get rid of all these random holes and to get rid of the heater core. I don't see that being against anybody's rules as far as, you know, stock firewall, because my firewall is still stock. I'm literally just building a patch panel to, you know, get rid of all these holes. I mean, these holes are technically a safety hazard if fire was to happen. We have built in an earlier video, if y'all remember, we already have made the panel that goes over that, and I have to make the panel that is going to cover up that one right there. So we are going to now cut this out, and then we'll build a panel for this. So when we're done with this, the idea is to have a panel that will bolt in here for the top transmission bolts, and then a panel that bolt in there for the wiring, and then, you know, a panel that bolts in here to cover all this up. This will also allow us to take this off so we can see the back of the head. The passenger head on the Coyote is the one that gets the ground and has them 3 sensors that we have been talking about in the past couple of videos. So they're really hard to see on the back side of the motor when it's in the car. If you ever have any issues or you need to do anything, okay, you can see right there, we have this sensor right here. We have a sensor down here that you can't see. You can barely see it down there. And then there's another sensor right there also. Right there. Okay, so there's 3 sensors all right here, plus this water crossover tube. So there's quite a few things going on the back of the passenger Coyote head. So I want to be able to cut this panel out. Let me make sure it's plugged out of our way. I just want to cut this panel out to patch all these holes, but also allow us to see the back of the head whenever we need to do any servicing or any work to it, you know, and that will allow us to get in here and see our bolt hole also where we're going to make our grounds at. For the head on this side, we'll ground the driver head up front, and then we'll ground the block to the motor mount probably. So that will solve all 3 of our grounds. It's just going to be easier. And then the motor sit pretty low, so if I can't access it all through up there, I've got a line drawn right there where I'm going to try to cut across. Then I will also come down here, you know, and I can cut as low down to here, and that will open up, I mean, that whole freaking side where it'll just be amazing to access the back of the motor. So, and technically that pulls out probably a pound or some ounces, but every little bit counts, and making it easier to work on, meaning you can enjoy the car more. So let's get at this. Let's get this cut out, and I'll show you all. Here's what we wanted. Look at that. I mean, this is almost like a purpose-built car. It's like a freaking pro mod now. No, I'm just joking. So that's what happened right there. We cut all the way through all that crap. See, I didn't know that went down that far right there in that corner, but it will get all patched up, covered up. So that is pretty freaking amazing, man. See, I just can't do the tight spots. I told y'all that in other videos. So here's this crap. I mean, it's just got holes all in it, man. I mean, dude, that needed to go. I mean, it's just been patched and drilled and partly fire hazard, partly a little too heavy. But check this out now. That's what I'm talking about. So now we can see the back of the head. Beautiful, pure T, beautiful. So we can see our sensor that we have right here. We can see our grounds. See, I couldn't even remember if I even taped them up. So we'll be able to beautifully get some grounds in here now. And then we will be able to get over here more to these sensors right here. You know, let's see here. You got one right there, you can see the head. Sorry, I'm sticking the camera up in here. And then you got that other sensor, as you can see, is not plugged in. So it just makes it easier to get to the back of your head. And if I would have thought about it, and if I ever have this car apart again with the motor out of it, I'm gonna cut the driver's side out of it probably too, or a pretty good chunk, because that's just way better that you can come in here now and work on everything pretty much right there, and you don't have to play around with the firewall, because I'm not here to deal with that headache. So I guess I will do the patch panel from the inside of the car probably. I don't know. I'd like to be from the outside, but then you'd have to bolt it from the outside. I guess it's going to go from the inside. So, and then it will bolt through the inside to the outside. That way, if you have the intake and all that on, it's not hard to get to the bolts, because that wouldn't make no sense at all. And then what we'll do is we'll clean it up, and then we'll run a rubber edge protector probably around this edge. So I put tape on here to kind of help protect the paint, since I knew it probably was not getting covered back up. It was going to be exposed. So your tape helps protect your paint. This is all tape that otherwise would have probably got the paint tore all to crap if we wanted in it. So we need to grind, file all these edges to make them smooth, and then probably take a piece of cardboard if I can. And well, no, I have the piece I cut out actually. So all I have to do is trace the piece I cut out on a piece of aluminum that I have outside, and then, you know, just add like 1/2 inch all the way around it, you know, to the border. Then drill some holes, put some nut certs in, and we'll be golden. So let me show y'all what we got this afternoon. It is Friday afternoon. Do y'all know where I'm supposed to be at? I'm supposed to be in Darlington. I'm supposed to be testing with Randy and Turbo John and everybody at Woodstock in Darlington. Guess where Randy, Turbo John, and all them are? Not in Darlington. We're gonna go over that in another video. Actually, you'll see that video before this one. So it's Friday afternoon. I've been working all day Friday, tying up some stuff on the car. Made a ton of progress, put in more orders. Spoke with Skinny up at TKN a couple times, sorted out some issues. Let me go over everything with you real fast of what I have sorted out, what I have done, and where we are at with the Comet again. Let me flip you around first. Back here in the trunk, we have ran the wires for the main power for the Holly. They're supposed to go directly to the battery, nothing else. They're not supposed to go to, you know, the kill switch. They're not supposed to go to a lug that comes off the battery. They're supposed to go directly to the battery. Devin on his channel is very clear about this. Holly is very clear about this. They send you a paper telling you this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, no questions about it. The wires go straight to the battery. The negative goes to negative, hot goes to hot. So we have ran them in right here. They're coming right up here. That's the wire that curves around. It's all zip tied nice and neat to the flange. It goes down there, and then it comes in the battery box right here. It stays wireless, and then it splits off. Red wire goes to, you know, obviously hot. Negative goes to negative. This is how my battery box is set up. This is an old battery I have in here that holds the charge amazing. I haven't charged this thing in a year, and when I just put the battery things back on, it sparked just a little. Kill switch is off, so the car's not getting any power. The terminator, or dominator, of course, now is getting power on that wire, but it's not activated to turn on because none of that's hooked up. So this battery, I have the weights on it. I might put them across the screen right now. This battery is actually lighter than a lightweight battery that I looked up. I can't remember what the lightweight street battery. Let me make it perfectly clear. Lightweight street battery, not a lightweight drag racing battery, because this has an alternator, so they have a charging system. And when I originally put this car together, it was going to have AC and all that. So this battery actually comes in lighter than one of the very good batteries that people recommended for the street. So I'm leaving it this here, and you've seen my weight percentages and my weight, so I'm not dissatisfied. But I've got mine all bolted down nice and neat in here. I've got an old piece of carpet. Well, it's a new carpet, but piece of carpet that's just shoved in here to make this cable, this hot cable, really tight against this plastic firewall, or the plastic box, so that it doesn't move and it doesn't hit this, you know, sharp bracket or nothing that holds everything down. I don't want no electrical fires, nothing shorting, nothing moving, nothing arcing. So everything's really tight. Like that battery and everything is really tight to work on to get it in there. That's the setup on that. Let's go look inside the car and I'll show you what we got. So here's our Dominator. Y'all have already seen it, but I just wanted to show you real fast. Here's our power wire coming out. I have the fuse nut serted and attached onto there, so it's nice and neat. And then you just kind of can fold it up so it's tucked out of the way. It's zip tied nice and neat to that bracket, and then it just runs around, sits on the carpet, and then it disappears underneath my busted up kick panel. So this thing was pretty bad whenever I originally had changed it from green to black, and I had to do a bunch of work that we're not going to go over in this video, but it's all chipping up and it's very disappointing. One day I might change them out. I don't know. Eventually, before the car is put together and finished, I'm gonna probably just touch everything up with a brush. And you can see right here where my brand new seals are already torn. Pretty sure Harper tore this or something happened, so I need to cut that. But let's not get off track. All of that's the same, no more progress. I did go ahead and hook the USB up just to try to comb through your list of things to do. Tuck that underneath there. I confirmed with TKM that I'm pretty sure that we are both, me and Skinny are both pretty sure that them are my coil drivers. The picture he sent me on my coil drivers, they look like to plug into that. So we did sort that issue out, got that under control. Haven't touched no wiring yet. Figured out the ground bolt and we figured out the ground wire. So for ground, this is what we have. I have my lug right here that goes back to my battery. This goes straight to my battery. This is a wire that it'll come straight off that lug, and then it will go right there to the back of the motor. I ordered the big 5/8 ring terminals this afternoon so that I can use that factory bolt. And then I have notched this little corner right here so that I can lay this wire up in there to the battery. Yes, I will protect that wire, but I think that's the way I'm gonna go. The only other option for that is to hook it to this outside terminal, and I kind of considered that. So it comes through right there, and then the metal, where I cut through is basically right there. So I could bend this back and shoot this down, insulate it so it don't hit the metal, go through there, and then it would come out right there along the firewall and go to the back of the head. But then you're messing under the fender if you ever have to. I don't know. I'm just thinking about leaving it in the vehicle. I mean, it's not going to be, no difference. Let me grab this light, and we will move this light under the hood because we're done in here. That's everything, all the progress we've made in here. Under the hood, we have sorted out some things that were in question under here that we had been talking about. So I will go over that with y'all. So all of our wiring, we were questioning the MAT sensor. The MAT sensor ends up, I talked to Skinny also at TKM, and basically that's the, just the air charge. Turbo John said, it reads the air temperature. Turbo John said put it in the, the bottom of the intake manifold if I want. He said basically it can go anywhere, but he did his in manifold. Skinny said he did his under the pipe that goes into the throttle body. So I'm probably going to put mine into the pipe that goes into the throttle body. I ordered that sensor this afternoon, so that's on the way. The other sensor that we had questioned on is the throttle body plug that goes into that. So I also talked to Skinny at TKM. He helped me sort this out, and the difference is that this is basically a plug like your pressure sensors would be. So that's what kind of plug that throttle position sensor takes. So sadly, I'm gonna have to depin that or just rewire that, connect them wires to this wires if we wanna do that kind of job. And that sorts out that. So let's see here, I think that's everything under here. I did not get to show y'all the other night. We did run our oil pressure sensor wire down here nice and neat. It goes right there where it comes out, and then it goes right here to the motor plate, goes up and over, and you can see it runs up the timing cover. Nice and neat, all tucked out of the way. Very happy with that. P-clamped it right here to the timing cover, and then it goes underneath there. So the oil sensor's done. Them sensors on the back of the motor are figured out. The NOx sensors are already done. That's everything. So everything is figured out under the hood. I have sorted through all of them questions I had on all them sensors, figured everything out, got all that in control. If you are watching this and you have a question on anything that I have not went over, if you drop a comment, I will make sure to let you know. Moving on to some other odds and ends and not bore y'all for the third video in a row about the wiring. My, what do you call it? My travel limiters failed the other day. So I did a video before some of y'all were even on the channel on DIY travel limiters, and this was my version, and I can tell you what I messed up. So I used this cable, and what I had done was loop it through here. Basically, I'll show you on the other side. That did not fail, and that literally just fell when I was jacking the car up. It failed. So this is how it looks. It goes down there, and then it loops through here, and then this is all adjustable. So you can adjust this up and down like that, and limit how much travel the car has. I didn't want to do logging chains and it jangling all around and everything. So I went with cable, because steel cable is pretty strong. Obviously the cable is not big enough, so I would need to go with a larger diameter steel cable, and maybe even get something professionally crimped on there. Whatever. The point of failure looks like it was literally, no, it didn't break. So the cable is strong. It didn't break at all. What it did was it pulled out. It pulled out of itself, because there's no broken cable inside there. So it pulled out of its sheathing. So what you probably need to do is cut the rubber sheathing off so that it's metal against metal, and then I bet you it would stay. However, I'm gonna do away with these. So I just ordered this afternoon chrome moly, UPR style, pulled the pin, quick adjustable, ones. They were like 130 bucks for chrome moly units. So they should be coming in hopefully next week. And then we will probably take this to the shop or modify something. I'm either gonna weld it onto here and then bolt it onto this plate, because this is almost a straight shot, as you can see, down right there to the lower control arm up to here, if it will fit through there, and bolt to this plate. Or I can go and bolt it to this plate, and then just come right here off of the bottom control arm and weld a good sized tab or something for that. So that's going to be how we're going to do them. I'll go over that whenever they come in. Let's see here. I'm trying to rock and roll through this and not bore y'all. We got mail. Like, Harper's been watching Blue's Clues, so it makes you want to sing the song, we got mail. Got this in today for the Procharger, so we're making ground on the Procharger also. I'm telling y'all, I have been ordering a lot of stuff. A lot of it's just a little pieces and odds and ends, but I am spending money like freaking crazy. We've been making a little bit of extra race car money on the side, and I'm actually going to go over another video of more race car money. I showed that a little while back on how I make money to pay for this car. My business does not pay for this car. Car sales don't pay for this car. My wife doesn't pay for this car. My employees don't pay for this car. I pay for this car on the side. This side hustle makes its money. So we're going to be going over that. We've ran into literally like a couple thousand over the past 2 or 3 weeks off my side hustle. And if y'all are the OGs on the channel and you were here when I did that video, you know what I do to fund this car pretty much. And we will go over that for the new guys in another video. But we got some pretty cool parts in. I've ordered in a lot. I also put in the order for, let's see here, the fuel pump is ordered, is taken care of. I ordered another, it's a 2,000 horsepower capable fuel pump, so we should have tons of fuel. This system should be all the fuel this thing can drink. That's going to be the secondary pump that's going to come in under boost only. We ordered a fuel pressure regulator. We went with an Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator and a Magna fuel pump. So the Aeromotive regulator should be in hopefully next week. That was through ATEC Motorsports. I do have a wholesale dealer account with Summit. So I don't like to say that, but if you need anything and you're near Wilmington, because I'm not probably going to ship it, I might. But if you need anything, if you want to drop me an email, I can price you out through my account, because I do have a wholesale account if it's through Summit Racing. That should hopefully be here next week. The fuel pressure regulator, which is all I care about. I don't care about the fuel pump right now. Fuel pump was specially ordered from me because they didn't have none in stock. So that might take a little longer. But I wanted to get the fuel regulator so we can get it mounted down here in the valley. That way we can start assembling everything back together. We got this in. I spoke with Procharger the other day and sorted out the blower size pulley and everything. So let me go over that with y'all. The blower pulley, for the blower, first off, the crank pulley on these Coyotes, it calls for like an 8-inch crank pulley. That equals out, the tech guy said it's like 7 point something, but it's basically called an 8-inch crank pulley. I don't know if that's standard on other vehicles or if it's just the Coyote stuff, but that's what we went with. That's coming straight from Procharger. The blower pulley, we went with a 4.5 inch blower pulley. I spoke with Procharger, and they recommended a 4.25 or a 4.38, I think it was, if we were going to make over 1,000 horse, if the motor would hold, 1,200, 1,300, stuff like that. And if we want to be conservative, they recommended a 4.5 inch pulley. So I spoke with TKM, and Skinny hit up some of the other guys there right after lunch. I think they were pretty much still on lunch, actually. They did the quick math, shot me back some numbers on it, and TKM is worried about the rods in the motor. So I did go with some pretty decent rods. They're billet H-beam rods that are in this motor, diamond custom cut pistons that were cut by L&M race engines in this motor. The cams are custom blower cams that were grinded by L&M race engines also for just this motor. They put me a package together with pistons, diamond pistons, the blower cams, lockouts, everything. L&M race engines did the internals. TKM did the machine work and put this motor together. They did top fuel hoops are in this motor. This motor sleeved. A bunch of other technical stuff that I don't even want to start rambling off and get stuff wrong. I have the paperwork on it. One day I want to sit down, go over the paperwork with y'all for this motor and read it off and tell you what all was done to this motor. This motor's weak points, TKM called me when we were assembling it. This motor's weak points is, they said, the rods. They're worried about the rods past 1,000 horse on this motor. I told them at that time that we have to stop. I was in the 5 figures on machine work and assembly with TKM, and I had just I think I just had tipped into the 5 figures. And I told them that I needed to just chill. So once you hit that, 10,000 mark that you've spent on machine work and, a couple of odds and ends that they had ordered, the ATI balancer, all that they added, I was like, I can't do nothing else. I don't even know. I probably spent another 10,000 on, between the cams and the pistons and all that through L&M race engines. They're not cheap. They're the baddest of the baddest when it comes to Coyote practically. All the money I spent on all of the MMR stuff, everything that's in this motor, I don't even want to know what I have in this thing. But my weak point was the rods. That's what I'm getting at. And I was trying to fill you in on the backstory. When you've spent that much and you're like me and you're on a budget, kind of, one hell of a budget, but I bust my tail to get where I'm at. But you have to stop somewhere. If not, they'll replace your rods, and then TKM will be calling me and saying that the next weak point is this, and we need to do this. And before you know it, you'll walk out there with a 3,000 horsepower Coyote or 2,500 horsepower Coyote, and that was not the goal for this. So I told them, chill, let's let my wallet breathe, let's put this car together, let's get this car running, and let me figure things out. That 1,000 horsepower, I'm gonna have my hands full anyway, since I've never made a pass in my life. And what we'll do is we will run it for a year. I'll figure everything out. We'll pull the motor out at that time after a year on the motor, and a good solid year on the motor. And we will then upgrade the rods, and I'll have them go through and make sure everything is still up to spec and everything is top notch on it. So that's jumping off course and rambling where the motor's at. So with that being said, we went with a 4.5 inch blower pulley because the rods are in question past 1,000 horse. Now, it's not that they won't hold 1,200, being billet H-beams and all that, but they are just they're in question past 1,000 with TKM. So he said, to be conservative, let's just order the 4.5 inch pulley. When we kind of creep up on it, we figure out what we're capable of. It's very easy to, change the pulley. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all the pulley and everything, but we're not gonna go into a ton of detail on it because I don't want this video to get too long, and I feel like that already went off course. But I know a lot of y'all have been asking about the motor, so I wanted to very briefly touch on it. And then, like I said, at some point I'll do a sit down and go over the whole detail of the motor. Excuse me. Let's show you what. So we ordered a pretty freaking amazing pulley. If y'all don't know about this, we're going to go into this in detail. This is made by Grip Tech, okay? I'm going to touch on this very briefly, and then we'll go into more of the advantages on it when I install it and put it on. It has its hub. So normal Procharged pulleys, they like press on, and then every time you go to change the pulley, you have to, my mind just went blank. I was wondering why them bolts ain't in it. Oh, they're in there. They must just want you to put some in. Anyway, every time you go to change the pulley on your Procharger, you have to use a puller to get it on and off, and I just didn't want to deal with that. So this is a pretty bad unit. It's got the hub that goes on there, and then you just take the bolts off to make your pulley changes. Another advantage to Grip Tech, if you don't know, go look it up, and you can do the research for yourself. There's the size. Like I said, it's a 4.5. Is they have this special coating that's actually machined. There's not a coating, it's a machining process that's built into this to bite the belt extremely hard. That's all I'm going to go into on this, because like I said, I don't want this video to drag out. The next video we'll talk tons more about this, and hopefully I can have maybe the lower one in, and we'll go into more detail about that. But I just wanted to show y'all that we're making big grounds. This was, I think, $250 to $300. I can't remember what I even paid for this stuff. I just called a bunch of people this week and ordered a bunch of crap. But if you look these up, these are about $250 to $300 for the hub with, you know, one pulley. So, and that's, you know, not including, I think I was about $400 to $500, I think. Could be wrong for both of the pulleys, but that was this one a wrap. I'm not gonna keep rambling on y'all. That's a lot of information dumped on y'all all at once. As this stuff comes in over the next week, we might be back on the car on Sunday, but as this stuff comes in over next week and we open stuff, we'll go over each item more in detail, and I'll update where y'all, you know, where I'm at that point. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will catch y'all on the next one.